All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rachak Wadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles at Great Millstone, who taught me this truth, and a sincere Shalom to the elect out there, teaching his truth in all honesty and sincerity in these last days. Okay, and the storm is coming, man. You know, I think I'm going to title this that. But the storm is coming, man. All right. And I just wanted to discuss a few things that are going on right now. Okay. Trump was over there in China doing business deals. All right, having a summit. And I guess they struck a couple business deals, but at the end of the day, there was no resolution on Iran. Okay, and that's what the markets were looking for. And because there was no resolution on Iran, okay, the bond market had some major movements, man. Yields went over 5%. Okay, yields crossed over 5%. The 30-year treasury. Okay, and that determines that's a large indicator of confidence in the dollar. Now, there's two ways that the U.S. can go about solving that problem. They can either inflate or they can deflate. Okay, and deflation. Okay, if they do it through deflation, then they would have to create something called demand destruction. Okay, so it's pretty much let inflation keep running. Okay, or kill off the economy. And you know, create a rainy day and get through it. Okay, so we know these devils. We know they're going to keep inflating. All right, now the Japanese yen is also in trouble right now. And with the dollar being the reserve currency of the world, the Japanese yen is usually the second reserve currency of the world. Okay? Because there's a lot of trading between, they call it the yen carry trade. A lot of trading between the dollar and the yen. So we're seeing the two reserve currencies of the world, okay, start to unravel a little bit, man. Okay, because the world is waking up and saying, you know what, this dollar system cannot continue on anymore. They got to tighten the noose, man. Okay, they can't keep creating debt. The limits of the system have been met as far as debt. Okay, and the world is basically saying we don't really have confidence in America to solve the world's problems anymore. Okay, so things are about to get dicey, man, and that's part of this perfect storm that is coming. And then you have the Clarity Act, which finally received enough votes in the Senate. Okay, I don't know for sure if they've actually voted on it yet, but I've heard that they have enough votes in the Senate, and Trump said he would sign it as soon as it hit his desk. So they're pretty much moving on to crypto. They know that the dollar is not going to last much longer. Okay, so in order to keep the United States afloat, okay, they have to move on to something else, man, and that's what the Crypto Clarity Act is all about, because they already passed the Genius Act. Okay, so I'll say this, right? Yes, the dollar is eventually going to die, but right now it's being transformed. Okay, the dollar is being transformed, and they're moving on to cryptocurrency technology, man. These elites. Okay, which eventually, to be a part of that system, okay, which is in their plans, what has to happen? They have to hip everybody, man. See how they're building this all together? And then you have the scares of the hantavirus, okay, which I think is overblown. That's just my personal opinion. It could show promise in the future. I'm not ruling that out. But Ebola just went and reared its ugly head. There's 65 deaths in the Congo through an Ebola flare-up, man. Now, me personally, I'm Team Ebola. Okay? I'm Team Ebola. I'm not really a fan of the hantavirus. But Ebola, okay, so the Lord is sending all these things on the earth, man. The Lord is sending all these things on the earth. Sending signs, man. Matthew 16:3, and in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? And you still have a lot of these Christians. I was just watching a Christian live stream on TikTok, and they're not talking about none of this stuff, man. They're talking, the only thing that these Christians know how to do is just say over and over again that Jesus loves you. Okay? There were all kinds of haters of the word in their chat too, and they're like, I still love you. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. These Christians, they have no idea what's going on around them. They're very naive people, man. Okay? They cannot discern the signs of the times. They claim to believe in the Bible, but they can't discern the signs of the times. Okay? And the times that we're in is what? The beginning of sorrows, like it's in Matthew 24, right? We're in pretty much the beginning of sorrows right now. And we're in the beginning of it, I should say. Okay? Because the perfect storm is coming, and we're about to be drugged through the mud, brothers. We are about to be drugged through the mud, man. There's a lot of things coming. Financial hardships, right? People are going to lose their purpose in life because AI is going to take all their jobs. Things like that. They're not going to be able to provide for themselves and their families. Okay? And Esau Edom, he's the devil, man. He's going to take advantage of that situation. Okay? He's the one that's going to make it so difficult to where if you want to continue to provide or to be taken care of, okay, you're going to have to get that MOTB, man. Okay? He wants you to take the MOTB out of necessity. Okay? This is Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And one of the things that they mentioned at that China summit was these reporters kept asking Trump the question about what happens if Taiwan gets attacked, okay? And he wouldn't answer. And he wouldn't give an answer. Okay? And that's a man that looks for any opportunity to talk. Okay? This is Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay? For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Alright? Now the purpose of these elites is, the purpose that these elites have is this new world order, right? They want to create a world government. What you see coming up right now is, a lot of these nations are wanting to have conflicts with each other, man. They're preparing for this World War III. Okay, everybody's positioning themselves for World War III. Okay, it's basically like the battle to see who gets what in the New World Order. Everybody's putting their chess moves on the board, man. Okay, and then it says, and there shall be famines, which we could totally see coming in the future. Lots of problems with the fertilizer getting transported from point A to point B because of the Strait of Hormuz primarily. Right? And then you have all that information coming out about these farmers being paid to destroy their crops. Okay? And pestilences, which a pestilence would be something like an Ebola or a hantavirus. It might, hey, the Lord might send a trifecta. He might send hantavirus, Ebola, and bird flu, man. We don't know how the Lord is gonna go about doing things. We just know that he's coming to bring this place the fuck down. Okay? And earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? These are the beginning of sorrows that we're about to enter. Alright, we're about to enter that time. Let's go to the Apocrypha. Oh boy. Oh boy. Why is it not coming up? Fucking Satan. Slacky, give me 1 minute, brothers. Sort this out. Alright, I'm back. I had to restart the app. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 17. Okay? 16 and 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Okay? And hey, we're, a lot of us, I would say a majority of us, have not resisted unto blood. Okay? The time is coming where we may have to, where our faith may be tested by us having to bleed, man. We may have to resist unto blood in the near future, man. These are the times that are coming. Okay? Total disruption of daily life. And Esau Edom's done a pretty damn good job of getting people reliant on this system, man. We separated people from nature, from being able to live out in nature. And it's all done by design. That's the devices of the crafty. Okay. And now this is 2nd Ezra 16 and 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. Okay? We're about to see great death, man. Large numbers of people in the world being put to death, man. Okay? Being put to death, man. Just get ready. Just get ready for it, man. There could be people that in your family that you speak to on a on maybe not a daily basis, but people that in your family, that may be put to death, man. The Lord said that He would take what, 2 from a city and 3, or 1 from a city and 2 from a family. Okay, don't quote me on that, but the scripture is something like that, man. Okay, there's about to be a lot of death out here. It's going to be a time unlike any other, like it says in Daniel 12. The beginning, verse 18 again. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. The beginning of famine and great death. The beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Okay? And what are you going to do when these evils shall come? Are you going to go around and be a thief and be a nuisance? Okay? Because you got a lot of people. I was listening to somebody earlier today who was talking about that, man. That they think that society is going to collapse soon. They're going to go around stealing cars and siphoning gas and, you know, and you know, they just take from people because they got a weapon. You and everybody else, man. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do when the missiles are in the air? See? What are you going to do when the missiles are in the air? What are you going to do when these devils start unleashing the robots and the drones on people, man? Okay? Because they're about to start putting drones in the air, man. When this society breaks down, they're going to have drones everywhere looking for people on the run, man. Okay? You think that they're not? You think that they're not? These devils have planned this for a long time. They've designed it. Okay? They designed this whole system, man. Okay? But hey, you know, Esau, he had a good run, man. He had a good run, I gotta say. You know, he had a good run, but it's pretty much over. It's pretty much over, man. It's just that we're at the part it's about to get really, really difficult. Okay? And we know, and the scriptures kind of back this up. Okay? When you're going through some serious shit, time takes forever, man. Okay? Time takes forever. You know? Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Okay? Famine and plague, tribulation and anguish. Okay? It's not just going to be about whether you live or die or not, but people are going to suffer, man. You're going to see people around you that you care about be put to death, be suffer, you know? You're going to see people that you thought you could trust that betray you because they're put in a survival situation. Okay, you may have to live day to day, knowing how you're going to get through the day, or you know, provide or whatever it is, man. Okay. You know, and getting into the subject of the plagues that are eventually going to come, okay? Whether it's hantavirus or Ebola or whatever it is, it could be something that we haven't seen yet. Okay? But yeah, man, getting into them plagues, man. Let's say Ebola becomes a pandemic. Okay, now me personally, I think that that's the one. Okay, I could be wrong, but I do believe that it has to what do they call it? Mature. Okay, it has to mature a little bit, man. All right, it has to mutate, just like hantavirus. Okay, because as viruses get more and more hosts, they learn the ins and outs of the various bodies that they're infecting, man. And generally, RNA viruses mutate to become less deadly and more infectious. Okay, so you have something like Ebola that has a 30% death rate. Well, if it were to become a pandemic, it would probably be a little bit less than a 30% death rate, but it would still be incredibly high. Okay, so what's going to happen when these devils lock down again? Because the lockdowns the next time are not going to be like what we went through in 2020. That's nothing. Okay, that's nothing, man. Okay, and then you go back to 2020 and you had people that were getting sick of the lockdowns, and the sheriffs and the police weren't enforcing the rules anymore. They don't need the sheriffs and police. They could replace them with robots, man. That's what's coming around the corner. Elon Musk says that in a few years there's going to be more robots than people on planet Earth. Okay? That's what's coming. And you think those robots aren't going to be going door to door or patrolling to make sure that you're staying in your fucking house? They're going to turn this into in fact, before InfoWars was around, Alex Jones, it was called Prison Planet, because that's what they're going to make it. Use some diseases in order to create a planet prison, or prison planet. All right. Now let's get back into the scriptures. 2 Ezra 16 and 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. And people ain't going to change because of it, man. The time is coming where if you ain't got this truth, man, you probably ain't of the elect. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth. Right, the seeds are sprouting, man. Even though things are still affordable now, the seeds are sprouting, man. We could see this about to hit in the not so distant future. Okay? And what is coming? Sword, famine, and great confusion. Okay? I want to get this, and I wanted to get a couple other scriptures in Peter, 1 Peter 4 and 1. About how we're going to suffer, because we're all those scriptures that our apostles used to read and bring out about us suffering, man. This is the time. All those years ago when they were saying that, this is the time, man, that we're about to enter. Okay, we're about to go through all those things that they told us about and warned us about. Okay, for all you TGC elites. Okay. You IUIC elites. Okay. This is 1 Peter 4 and 1, and then we're going to get Sirach 2 and then wrap it up. For as much then as Yahushua has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. Okay, the same mind. So just like Yahushua suffered for us, time is coming when we're going to suffer, man. The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they've done it to him, they're going to do it to us. And they're going to do it to us, man. They're going to blame us for it. But you guys were the ones that were putting it out there, saying this is going to happen, that's going to happen. All right? They'll do false flags, so on and so forth. For as much then as Yahushua has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that has suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lusts of men, but to the will of the Most High. And that's the mindset that we need to be in right now. Okay? Fuck all these lusts of men, man. Fuck all that partying and going out there, going to concerts and all kinds of fucking bullshit. Okay, ain't no good fucking musicians out there anyway these days. There really ain't. Well, you gonna go to some fucking rap concert? Get out of here, man. What are you, fucking 15? Anyways, this is verse 2. That he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lusts of men, but to the will of the Most High. Okay? And that's the time that we're entering, where we need to be all in on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Okay? Not to the lusts of men. Fuck building a career. Fuck building businesses. Now, if you've been blessed with those things, you've been blessed with those things. You handle it accordingly. Okay? In the time of, about sending our kids through college. Right? We ain't in that time, man. You gotta discern the signs of the times, right? Let's get Sirach. Second chapter. Ecclesiasticus 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Oops. And make not haste in time of trouble. Okay? So this is the time that we're coming in, man. Coming into. I'm going to read it again. Sirach 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, right? Which we are serving the Lord. Okay? So because we're serving the Lord, we have to what? We have to prepare our soul for temptation. There's going to be a lot of temptation out there these last days. Okay? And the hour of temptation is also coming. And what is the hour of temptation about? It's about tempting you to take the MOTB, okay, by sending serious things on the planet Earth. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Okay? So expect the shitstorm, man, and just endure it. And just do the right thing, right? Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. Okay? See, the Christians are teaching the prosperity and the singing and dancing doctrine, man. They're not telling you about what you're going to have to go through. Okay, they're not telling you about what we're going to have to go through. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. Okay? Because Christians are teaching that we're not going to be brought to a low estate. We're just going to get raptured out of here. It's bullshit. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Okay? For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So we have to go through this adversity. To face trial, you know, but our faith needs to be tried. Okay? Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in the Lord, and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear, and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. Okay, and we have to hope for that, man. We have to pray for that. Okay? Now, verse 12 is a really good point right here. Woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways. So we need to be steadfast, unmovable in this time, man. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Okay, you got a lot of Christians out here that can't even handle day-to-day life right now. Okay? Therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience. All you guys that lost patience and went back into the world, right? And what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? That's going to be great, man. That's going to be great. You know? Seeing all you guys that got kicked out and fell out. Okay, get your comeuppance when the Lord visits you, man. because you lost your patience. All right, and with that, till next time, shalom.